Hello friends, welcome back. I wanted to do a really quick out the door get ready with me, and I'm actually getting ready before work this morning, and I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to film this video. It is currently 5:50 a.m. so really early, and I want to get back into filming these get ready with me type of videos before work. I just find them to be like really helpful, like really practical, because this is me actually getting ready before work. And yeah, it just gives me another day to film. So I'm just gonna go ahead and jump in. And I did already do my skin prep off camera, so I'll list down below what I used. But for my foundation today, I'm gonna be using the Maybelline Super Stay 24-hour Skin Tint. And I usually mix 118 and 110 together. Like, they don't really have my exact shade in this range. And I feel like I hear other people say the same thing. So maybe like this shade ranges on this isn't the best, but just get a little bit of 110. And if you're ever curious about like what shades I'm using, if I don't mention it in a video, or if you need to recall the products that I use, I always link everything, including the makeup tools, down in the description box below. So you can always expand that to, you know, see what I'm using. So I'm just going to kind of dot this foundation all around. And I'm trying to get used to applying slightly a little less makeup. I have a tendency to really apply my foundations pretty heavy because I like more of a full coverage look. But I'm trying to, you know, scale it back a little bit. I feel like with me, I get in my phases where I'm just like super heavy handed with my makeup, and I almost have to kind of be like, all right, less is more, don't apply too much. So I find that like dotting that foundation around helps me to not over apply it. But I love the finish on this Maybelline Super Stay 24-hour Skin Tint. It has the most pretty, like, luminous glow, and it lasts for a long time on the skin. So this is one of my very favorite luminous foundations. I have several in my collection, but this is a really good one. And it has a good like light to medium coverage on it. Got my coffee this morning, and if any of you like are curious about where I work, because I feel like some of you guys probably don't know, I just work in a fulfillment center, like a warehouse. So it's definitely a place where you don't need to wear makeup. I'm going to go in with the Maybelline Eraser Concealer. The Instant Age Rewind Eraser. I don't know, is it even called all that anymore? It just, yeah, Instant Age Rewind Eraser Concealer, yeah. And I'm using the shade 110. I'm trying to kind of test this concealer out. I feel like I go in my phases with this, like where I really like it, and then other times where I'm just kind of like, it's okay. It's not like my favorite. So, and I might actually use like a little brush to blend this out. I usually use a sponge, and I'm thinking that maybe this concealer looks better applied with a brush than a sponge. So I'm just using the Sigma Concealer Blend Kabuki F79 brush. And hopefully this brush is still available. I've had this brush for a while, but I never really use it in videos. I'm just going back with my sponge just to make sure there's no like little brush strokes. And see, like with concealer, after I apply it, it makes me like, I want to apply more to like conceal more. But like I said, I'm trying to be better about not over applying makeup. And so like when I was younger, could definitely get away with that, but I'm in my 40s now. I just turned 40 last year, and I feel like less is more sometimes. Okay, so for my setting powder, I'm gonna be using the L'Oreal Infallible Blurfiction. This has just been my go-to under eye setting powder. I'm just gonna lightly dust that on. I think this just is really finely milled, like it's very undetectable on the under eyes, and I think it does a great job of blurring and slightly brightening. Like, it's not like the most extreme brightening powder on me, but I kind of like that. Like, it just kind of makes, you know, your under eyes blend in with the rest of your face makeup and kind of gets rid of, like, at least for me, my under eyes are a little bit, like, have lost a little bit of volume right in there. So they can look a little, like, shallow, or I guess sallow or whatever. But this powder kind of helps to even that out. So that's why I really like this. Okay, and then to set all over the face, I'm going to use the e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder today, the loose setting powder. I bought this a while back. I know that this has been around for a while, but I don't think that I've ever really used this in a video. I know I've used like the pressed Halo Glow powder, and there's like a part of me that kind of prefers press setting powders over loose ones, especially for setting all over the face. And I think that is just because loose setting powders are just so messy, and a lot of times I just find the pressed ones to look a little bit more undetectable on the skin. I don't know, maybe I just use like less powder overall when I use a pressed setting powder. But this e.l.f. one is really beautiful. It keeps like that nice diffused glow with the foundation. So it is a really nice setting powder. I do really enjoy it. I just don't tend to reach for it as much as I should. I do like how this has like the little thing where you can close it off, so like your powder doesn't continue to spill out. So I do like that. I feel like every setting powder should come with that design. And the shade that I use in this is in Light. It's like also with me, when it comes to that Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser, sometimes I just feel that it almost makes my under eyes look a little bit dry and settles into fine lines. So I just don't know, like maybe I just apply too much of it still. I'm not really for sure. I think that's why I never really care for that concealer, is it just doesn't give me enough coverage, and sometimes I feel like it just settles into fine lines. But I know so many people love and rave about that concealer, so sometimes I just don't really get the hype of that. Do any of you guys feel that way about that concealer? I don't know. It's like I want to like it, but it's so hit or miss for me. Like some days I think it's okay, other days I'm just like not into it. I'm just brushing my eyebrows up. Salem, is that you, buddy? And then I'm gonna use this NYX. Well, actually, before I use the NYX, do I wanna set my brows first? What is it, buddy? You want to come in? You do? You want to sit in your chair next to me while I film? Come on. Let's get in your chair. Come on. I wish you guys could see him. I'll have to try to do like a little video clip, but but I have like this little sponge and powder poof up here for him. And he likes to get in his chair. Don't you, buddy? You like to get in your chair? You like to sit next to me and watch me do my makeup, buddy? Get your little powder poof and your Real Technique sponge. Say he's a good buddy. Are you a good buddy? Salem. You a good buddy? You are? So you're very handsome. All All right, back to the video. He's so cute. All right, bud, sit next to me. He's like such a big cat. He cannot sit in my lap while I'm doing my makeup. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and fill in my brows. Here, let's put your little sponge and stuff up here. I've got like some makeup over here and I'm afraid he's gonna knock it off. But if I get like that little sponge and powder poof, he just plays with that. Okay, so I'm gonna use the NYX Micro Brow to fill in the sparse gaps in my brows, and then I'm gonna go back with the brow gel. Yeah. What do you think about it? Do you like the way my brows look when I fill them in? And I'm just using the shade Black to fill in my brows. Which actually yesterday I didn't really even fill in the front part of my brow. I just did the tail and I really liked the way that looked. So I'm going to try not to fill in the front very much. If you hear any noises, that's Salem trying to get his little powder poof. Oh, my nose is itchy. Okay, we'll just do a slight fill-in since I did that with the other brow. Okay. And then for the brow gel, I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Wow Brow in, I think this is dark brown. And I'm just going to brush this through my eyebrows. I know I've been using the Maybelline Build-A-Brow a lot, and I do love that product, but I wanted to kind of switch it. Whoops. I wanted to switch it up today, just so I'm not always using the same products in my videos, and I do enjoy these two products on my brows. And I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Camo liquid bronzer, and I'm also going to use a Camo liquid blush because I feel like I have not used the Camo liquid blushes in a hot minute. But I'm just using the shade Light for the bronzer contour. But I just love these e.l.f. Camo liquid bronzers and blushes. Like, they blend out so nice. Over powder, under powder. They last all day long. I think the shade ranges on these products are so good. I think e.l.f. did a fantastic job on these. I would say out of all of like my bronzers, these are like my most used, at least as of late. And I feel like this would last forever. Like, there's so much product in there and it really doesn't take that much, especially with the blush. Like the bronzer, I mean, they're still pigmented, but not quite as intense as the blushes, which is probably for the best because the blushes are crazy intense sometimes, especially some of the shades. My stomach made a noise, Betty. Your toe. What are you doing with your toe? But yeah, like I was telling you guys on one of my other chatty get ready with me's, the basement, you know, got destroyed with water with all the flooding that we had, and we had to get like our drywall and flooring, well, some of the drywall and the flooring removed. Well, whenever we finally let the cats downstairs in the basement, Salem, it was so cute. Like, he was just in amazement when he went down there. He was just like, what happened, Mom? Like, you could tell that he was looking like he was in a different world. So it was really cute. All right, so I'm gonna try to just dot this on. I usually never just dot the blush on just because they can be super intense. I usually put them on the back of my hand and then blend them out. But we're going to try the dotting technique today. Salem, stop being so slurpy with your grooming, buddy. This is not an ASMR video. Little dot here. Oh, and the shade that I'm using in this e.l.f. liquid camo blush is in Suave Mauve. I don't know if I said that, but this is one of my favorite shades from that range. Just kind of like it is a mauve, but I find it to be like a little bit more, I guess, like pigmented or a bit more rosy than some of the other mauve blushes that I have in my makeup collection, like my powder kind of mauve blushes. Just gonna add a little bit more. It's always for the best with this liquid blush to just slowly build it up. But it is such a pretty everyday color. So pretty. Do you guys own any of these e.l.f. camo blushes? And if you do, like, which shades are your like most loved and used? Also, sometimes Salem snores, so you could hear him snoring in the background. So I just kind of did a more light application on the blush today, just because I'm doing more of like an everyday kind of look. And I think I'm gonna skip on the highlight today, just to save on time. And then let's move on to the eyes. And I'm gonna do like a really simple eye look. Just gonna prime with the Milani eyeshadow primer. I don't know if you guys can hear him snoring. Okay, and I'm going to use this little eyeshadow palette by Jason Wu. I got this at Target several years ago, and I don't think that Target sells this anymore, but I know that Jason Wu has this on his website, and I've also seen this on Amazon and Walmart. So this is in the shade Matte Agave, and this little palette has all matte shadows. I just think that this little palette is such a great everyday palette. It's so compact and small. It's really great for travel. So I'm gonna first go in with the shade here, and I'm gonna pop that in the crease. This just has really nice kind of warm toned shades, just matte warm tone colors. And like the face brushes I was using to blend out like my bronzer and blush, and also like this eyeshadow, I got them out of an Amazon brush set. So I'll have that set linked down below if you're curious, but it's super affordable and I love the brushes that come in that set. So just blending that in the crease. I used to use this little palette so much for like my everyday eye, and I've kind of gotten like away from using this little palette just because I've been trying to explore other palettes in my makeup collection. Okay, and then for my brow bone highlight, I'm going in with the matte white. You can see that's a well-loved shade in this palette because I've hit pan on it. I find that like a good matte like cream white shade like that is hard to find, especially in drugstore eyeshadow palettes. So I would tend to just like come to this palette and use this shade when I needed a matte like white or cream. And then all over the lid. Little Salem buddy, you're really snoring it up. You're really snoring it up, buddy. I'm gonna use this shade over here all over the lid. And you know, in the morning, if you were in a super big rush to get out the door, you could totally just do like a one and done eyeshadow look. But I do have a little extra time today, so I figured let's kind of do a little bit more in-depth look with this little palette. And then I'm going to take a little bit of that cream white and also put that on the lid. I want that shade to look a little bit lighter and brighter. But the mattes are just so smooth in this little palette. Like, it really feels like high-end quality. And I'm debating if I just want to keep it simple like that or if I want to deepen the outer V. I might just keep it simple. I need to see how much time I got left. I'm going to take some more of that matte white and use that here in the inner corner because I also got to fix my hair as well. Okay, yeah, I think that's all I'm going to do for just the eyeshadow portion. So just a really beautiful basic matte eye. I think I'm going to use this NYX Lip IV. I really love this product and it's been a minute since I've used it. This is in Drippin' in Rose and I think it pairs really nicely with the Suave Mauve. Like, look at how close like the shades kind of match on this. I mean, the NYX Lip IV is a little bit more warm toned, but I think they pair really nicely together. So let's go ahead and set the face. Oh my gosh, something just fell. And I'm gonna use the Milani Make It Last Makeup Setting Spray. Another thing that I do sometimes is I'll take the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Setting Powder in shade Fair. And I'll take my makeup sponge, my damp makeup sponge, and I'll get some of the powder here on the tip. I'll kind of like work it on the back of my hand just to kind of knock off the excess. But I'll take that powder and kind of just like mattify like my T-zone or like the center part of my face. So it's not too overly shiny, especially after I use a setting spray. It really brings back the glow, which I do like, but it's like at the same time, I can tend to look a little bit too shiny. So if that happens to you, just take like the Maybelline powder on your sponge and press it in. And I find that doing it that way, it doesn't look too powdery, but tones down like the shininess in the T-zone. And I try not to take it up too much underneath the under eye just because I have put that other powder there. But okay, off camera, I went ahead and fixed my hair, got my clothes on for today, and I just curled my lashes up and used some of my very favorite Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara. This is my all-time favorite mascara. It just gives me a lot of volume, some length, and I don't have issues with it flaking or smudging throughout the day, so it is just my favorite. So use that on the lips, and then like I said, for the lips, I use that on the lashes, and for the lips, I'm gonna use the NYX Lip IV in Drippin' in Rose. And I love this lip product because it is so moisturizing and hydrating. It lasts super long on the lips, and once it wears off, it does leave a little bit of a stain. So it just feels so, I don't know, it's so interesting on the lips. It's more hydrating than like the Maybelline Super Stay Vinyl Inks, and it's not as tacky as those. Like, this just literally feels like a super like hydrating gloss, but it's so opaque, so nice. So I do really like this product. I've been wanting to get some other colors in this, and I need to remember to use this more often because I love it so much. But this is the final makeup look. So really natural, just a great everyday makeup look. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I am gonna read out of my little devotional book to you guys today before I head off to work. So this is the devotional and the scripture today. I love the photo, the picture for today. So gorgeous. I love the ocean. I love the beach. So, fresh, unfailing mercies. May God himself wrap you up in his new mercies this day. Where you've known angst, may he give you awe-inspiring wonder. Where you've known heartbreak, may he bring healing, deliverance, and supernatural breakthrough. May he help you blow the dust off your dreams and lift them up as a possibility once again. With God, all things are possible. May you learn to pray from that beautiful truth. Be lifted up today. He's got you. And then the scripture is Luke 1, verse 37. For no word from God will ever fail. So I really like this. Super uplifting today. My little alarm on my watch is going off. I have like alarms set for me throughout the morning so I can stay on track. I just realized I have lipstick on my teeth. So anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. I hope that you all have a great day today. I love you so much, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.